What's good, everybody's RiderG tapping in. Man, today I want to do a reaction video on an OG who's been down for 50 years. And he's still in prison, dog. That's a trip, bro. Now, I know OG that was down since 82 when I was busted back in 2019, 2020. Man, that's a long time, bro. That's 50 years, bro. Think about it. He didn't see none of the 2000s, the 80s. Man, he got busted in the 70s. That's like I said, he didn't see none of the 80s, 90s, 2000s. That's a trip, man. We're gonna hear what he has to say. He's gonna tell a story. That's a trip, man. We're gonna give our opinions. Program talk.
We start off with just, can you give us your name and how long you've been down? My name is Joseph Bivens. They call me Jojo. I've been down a little bit over 50 years. Where you from? Richmond, California, Cocoa County.
He does seem like a Bay Area, you feel me, type of person to me. You know, but you know what I mean? It's different, bro. But OG's been down since '74. That's a long ass time. He remembers the KKK.
What's one of your favorite childhood memories? Let's start at the beginning, as far back as you can remember. My favorite childhood memory is being there with my family. My stepfather, he raised me. He was a good dude. I appreciate everything he did for me. And that's really where my childhood lied with him until, in fact, until after my mother went to prison, I ended up pretty much living on my own. From the 8 years old, I stayed with my grandmother who was an alcoholic, and I had to take care of her. From there, I got into stealing, robbing, and as I grew with that mentality of not clear thinking. I would just call myself surviving. I never really understood the magnitude of which my crimes that I committed would take on not just myself, my family, but also the community.
And the rest of your life, man. 50 years. I don't know what he did. We're gonna find out, but 50 years is a long time, bro. To, for something you did when you was a youngster, you know.
And it spiraled from there. I got into the dope game. I sold dope. I went to Youth Authority and came out with a master plan to sell more dope. My downfall came when I moved back to Richmond. And in Richmond, they had a gang of corrupt police. They was Ku Klux Klan members that had actually infiltrated the Richmond Police Department. It was known as the Richmond Cowboys. That's when this all started. On June 25th, 1974, on my way from a movie with my girlfriend.
Bro, that's a trip. When you think about it, like even the police had their own cliques. That's scary, dog. It reminds me of what's going on in the prisons, dog. Like on the 50-50 yards, where SEALs are helping inmates, attack other inmates. It's crazy. The very people that are supposed to protect you are scaring you. Your life's at risk around them.
My cousin and her boyfriend, Ku Klux Klan, pulled shotguns on me. They took me, threw me in a car, drove me to an isolated area, and began to beat me. I don't know what language, but they kept using N-word.
That's his memory of the outside world, 1974. But that gives you a little perspective, bro. Like it's 2024. My goodness, that's all he remembers, and that's kind of it gives me like this feeling in my gut, like ugh, like stay out of jail, bro.
Ninja, you gonna tell us you did it. Ninja, you did it. If you don't, you're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison. From that point on, I just didn't say nothing because I knew their reputation. Quite a few people. So therefore, I just kept quiet. They took me back to the Richmond City Jail where the beatings continued. I never had a warrant for my arrest or an affidavit for my removal from the streets. They just took me. They beat me. My luck began when one of the guys there heard what was going on and called out to me. And I told him who I was. But they beat me. I mean, it got to the point where I don't know how many days they beat me, but they beat me for days. It would get to the point where I would be in the fetal position. I would have my hands covering my privates, but they would continue to kick me in my butthole with their pointed boots because this is what they wore. When they got out that I was in there, my family come looking for me. They moved me.
That's that's disgusting, bro. And at the same time, it's vicious, savage activities, man. You know, from people that's supposed to be protecting you, and it's like that's what he remembers, and that's crazy.
To Richmond City Jail, where they took me and put me inside of a room that was so hot that I had to lay on the floor in order to breathe. I breathed up. I don't know how long I had been there, how many days I had been there before an old man seen me and I told him I needed a doctor. Then it got to the point where they would defecate in my food. They would do things that were just unspeakable, and I don't understand how another grown man would do that to an individual, especially now
So they threw shit in his food bowl, like pee and all that.
as a kid. They held me for 43 days until I finally went before their tribunal. I don't call it a court, it was just what they did. The same people that took my ancestors.
The tribunal. That's like some dictator shit. You got no chance up in there.
Ancestors freedom, beat them, chained them, was the same people that the descendants of those who did it to me. And from there, I came to prison. Once I got to prison, my mindset, they had already gave me a mindset. Tracy was DBI, better known as Gladiator School at the time. And believe me, everybody there was trying to become a gladiator. And that was my conditioning. That's where my conditioning started. Not to say, do, or remember anything that wasn't dictated to me. My mindset there was not to become animalistic as with the tendencies that would have become a culture in that institution.
Hey, you could tell he's intelligent though. I mean, that's what you're doing there. You read a lot of books. You learn a lot of psychological shit. You know, he's an intelligent man, wise.
I survived on pure D luck in the Word of God. The individuals there had become so animalistic that when the BGF decided to have a split, part of them became vanguards. However, before they broke away, they had secretly did recruiting for theirs. BGF caught word of what was going on, and they secretly recruited. So therefore, I was stuck in a war where no one knew who their enemies were. They was even trying to force recruits. I couldn't do anything but try to survive. God was in my corner. I didn't hurt anybody, and I wasn't murdered myself. But this was what my first mindset and my conditioning began in prison. Anything else? News that I abandoned is not a good fit for anyone. People should think about the consequences of their action. And for those who have no idea of what criminal activity will get you,
Get you a lifetime, bro, of pain, frustration, depression, misery. A lifetime. There's people that committed a homicide when they were 18, 17, and they're still locked up. You know, they're 60 years old, still locked up, and you got someone who did the same crime, got like 20, 30 years less, you know, so it's crazy. Just don't commit crime, you know?
I'm going to say I didn't witness. But it was a time when they used what they call pipe knives. Pipe knives is a piece of pipe by yay long. They flatten it, peel it quite sharp. So it would make what people started calling bone crushers and one hit a foot. When you pin down, and every time a person is stabbed, you can hit a concrete up under a chip, that's trauma.
The thud. Like, I've seen fools get butchered on the yard. The thud. It's like this noise, and then they start screaming like ah. Sometimes, sometimes they fight for their life. Sometimes those they'll run, fool try to run, they'll scream. Yeah, it's out, bro. And Bone Crusher's big. They get that shit off lockers and shit off steel. They carve it out, shit like that. But a pipe, woo.
You being lonely and missing your family, you are alone when you experience this trauma because you can't talk about to it about anyone, not even your so-called new friend. Because if the man that did it gets caught, then your new friend gonna say, "Well, he was talking about it." And these are traumas that manifest themselves that you got to take and swallow and hold within yourself. And very few men were able to cope with that. Some committed suicide, some went crazy. Very few survived and continued. Some got lucky and went to the hole and didn't have to contend with what was going on. Racism wasn't just on the streets, it was in prison.
It still is in all the county jail systems, especially in California. Shit, racist as hell, bro. Everyone's separated. It is what it is, bro. It has to be that way to prevent people from getting bullied, shit like that. Have structure, rules. You know what I'm saying? But look at that yard, bro. Just imagine doing years and years and years. Let's say you get in a fight or something happens, you go to the hole. You can't even enjoy the yard. You can't even enjoy the little the prison has to offer. The little piece you have. Imagine being in a hole and doing years. Now that'll mess with your mind, bro. Tear you up, man. Like I said, people take themselves out because they can't take it.
Now they shoot kids with block guns. Then they use shotguns. I've been shot in the head, pepper sprayed on between my legs. But I'm still here. I've lived the separation of the BGF. I lived the kickback of the Solidad 13. Juneteenth in San Quentin,
1970.
a mass riot on the upper yard where over 600 inmates was going at it at one time.
Way back when. Way back when. Oh, geez. They need to let him out, bro. I don't know. That's crazy.
I'm a survivor. And not by me being tough, by the grace of God. Because he knew that one day I was going to have a story to tell. Like I said, I'm here, but not for anything I've done, but just for what I am, and that was black, poor and black, unable. I went through 6 attorneys. I'm attorney of record now. I do my own legal work. I appeared just before you came. I appeared in court myself.
So he's still a victim of racism from the 70s. That's crazy. They should make a law, huh? Like, if you're a victim to racism way back when, shit has changed, bro. I'm saying let him out. You know what I'm saying?
This is something that I'm still up against in that county because I'm not a threat to the community. I'm a threat to racism and bigotry that's in my county that's so flagrant and deeply embedded. It's not just police that people should worry about because every time you read it, these police corrupt, racist police, and they remove them, but they come back. I wrote the board of prison terms and explained to them, you're using tainted evidence of the Ku Klux Klan and information that you received to deny me parole. How is that fair? And it's not. You have men with limited educations that are trying to study law. We try to help each other, but it's still always that block. I wrote hundreds of letters to organizations and tried to seek help. But when they would check my county, they would tell them there's no such case.
So he's been that's the truth. So they lost his case or something. It's been like 50 years, bro. You could get lost in the system, but I don't know. OG probably just don't want to admit to what he did too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, but man, I feel his pain though. 50 years, long, long, long time, man. And it's just sad, bro. It's just sad. You know, stay in school, man, because you can end up like this. I know times have changed, but still, you can still end up getting 50 years for some bullshit. You know. I sent mine to OG. I don't know if he's getting out anytime soon, but hopefully.
Here it is, I'm in prison. There's no record of my arrest, or my trial, or my conviction. but they still persist to hold me because I won't conform to what they want me to conform to. I did not these people. They know I didn't.
They want you to admit it so they can let you out. That's the cool thing. Even if you didn't do it, you gotta admit it to get out. That's cool, huh? Once they convict you, they convict you. But he was convicted in the 70s, when it was really racial. So, you take it with a grain of salt, man. It's messed up.
But they want me to confess, and this is something I'm not going to do. The man was my friend. He wasn't my best friend, but he was my friend still in all. And his family should know that the police had a lot to do with it. It was eyewitnesses to the crime. But since they had beat me, they had to do something with me. So this is where I ended up. Anything else?
So they basically blamed him. They did his homeboy in, and then they blamed him for it.
Again, like this is a platform for you to say whatever it is that you want to say to the people, get whatever you want out. So if there's anything else that you feel necessary to say, please go ahead. Understand that I'm not tribalistic. I'm from Richmond, but I hang out with pretty much everybody. I got love for my little brothers. And I want them to stand on my shoulders, and I hope that they do, because they can be guaranteed that I will hold them up and hold them accountable. I'm not violent, but I will get on their case when I catch them doing wrong, won't I?
50 years, man. 50 years, bro. Free OG. If what he's saying is true, uh, that's a long time. They should change the laws, bro. I don't know what holds someone for 50 years over one homicide. There's people that get out over 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, 18 years. So I don't know, man. I think it's a little messed up, but like you said, he's not willing to go in there and admit it. They want you to admit it. Until you admit it, they're not gonna let you out, bro. That's the cold case. I'm saying, unless they change some laws. I don't know how these new law changes haven't affected him in a positive manner. But yeah, man, OG speaks. I'm doing 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Way back in the 70s, bro. That's a trip, man. How would you feel, bro, being locked up 50 years? That's a trip, huh? That's what I'm saying, man. Crime don't pay. You know what I'm saying? Time just floats away. You know what I mean? Stay in school, get a job, stay out the streets, man. With that being said, let me know what you think, man. Free OG or what? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's program time.